What's up, everyone, and welcome to ClearTalk. So, in this video, yes, if you see the title, am I being a little hyperbolic? I mean, or clickbaity? I mean, kind of, but not really, if I'm being honest. What we're going to do is we talk about, in lieu of this past, weekend, the celebration of Easter, and it's highly engaged in and like revered holiday for Christians all over the world. I wanted to talk about. I wanted to bring that in focus with what's going on in Gaza. Okay, we're going back to, it's been a while since I've really talked about the Middle East and everything going on in Israel and Gaza. And this is, and I'm kind of, yes, I am sort of bringing it all together around Easter, around the idea of Christian morals and the idea of Jesus, and how we are, the idea behind how we treat people, and bringing this into question because we have so many, Christians here in the United States who are openly supporting the Trump regime along with Israel in the genocide going on in Gaza. Like, they are defending this whole idea. And to me, that is just, it's just disturbing and shows how far some aspects, sects, or of Christianity has gone so far away from what some would argue is sort of the whole premise of Jesus and his movement. So anyway, thank you for joining me here. I'm starting a new. I think I'm adjusting a little bit of the way that I do these videos. I'm kind of gonna go right at it. I mean, my information is now on the screen. I don't feel the need, or I feel like I don't need to express, where you need to do or what you need to do. If you want to do it, you're going to do it. So, thank you very much for joining me, and we're going to go right into it. All right. So, there was, Easter this weekend. Jerusalem, the Middle East is like, of course, where the hub of Christianity, came about, just like Judaism, and Islam as well. All this area, along with many others as well, some that are not really practiced a whole lot anymore. Although some religions are still somewhat around. There are small areas of people that still practice other parts of religions and came from that area as well. But those are the three big ones, right? That everybody, either in some way, form, or fashion claims to be a part of, for the most part, especially in the Western world. And of course, like I said, that particular area of the world. So, and this is practiced by, a lot of different, ethnic groups as well. So, Christianity, there are like Jewish Christians, and there are Palestinian Christians, just like there's Palestinian Jews, there's Palestinian Muslims, there's you can find all the different, you can find many different connections there within the Palestinian people, just like you can in Israeli people, just like you can in the United States. So this weekend, um, as I stated in the title, Israel is persecuting Christians, and while that is kind of a broad statement to say, I do mean though that they are persecuting Palestinian Christians. So you have in that hub. There's there's several big like centers or worship places that people identify as different, like being the hub or something, or the start of a particular religion, or the holy site where they think somewhere something started or something, whatever. There's a few places quite in the area that sort of have this historical connection to them, or uh, anyways. So one of those places, the Holy Church of Scepter, whatever. How I can't Scepter or what. Anyways, it's a hard to say hard to say word. For me, anyways. This is an area where people for Christianity come, Palestinian, Jewish, whatever, come there to worship. It's they have different ceremonies and stuff that happen. This is something that's put on, I think, over multiple days. But it's just an area where people gather. Usually, there's thousands upon thousands, like tens of thousands of people that come to this area to worship and involve. Get into the different ceremonies and stuff that they do. And on this particular Easter, though, there were very few that were allowed. You have to kind of, especially, particularly Palestinians, oftentimes have to get like permits to come in order to worship from the Israeli government. And this is in Jerusalem. And this year, Israel basically suppressed that. They only allowed for a certain amount. I want to say I saw some figure, it was like around 6,000 maybe, that they allowed or gave some sort of permission to come. But a lot of Palestinians, they were basically preventing them from coming in. There was a lot of violent acts. I want to even say a few people got shot or injured. And it's so the idea, though, is that they were trying to basically, they said it was out of protection. That was their claim. That it was out of security protection that they were preventing people from coming in. They didn't want that amount of people in the area or whatever. But it still applies that they are systematically trying to prevent Palestinians from carrying on in these religious practices that they in Christianity that they annually participate in. So they're actively, like I said, persecuting these Christians, Palestinian Christians, preventing them from practicing their freedom of religion and everything else in this particular area. And this is something that this particular year has really it's bigger. This is something that they do all the time, but this year particularly it was on a much grander scale than normal. And this is the reason why I'm getting around to this is we have even in the United States, we have a department in our government called the United States Commission of International Religious Freedoms. Right, this I want to say was developed in 1988 or something like that. It was formed, and so basically, it's something that analyzes countries all over the world, governments all over the world, and basically trying to identify countries or governments that they consider are in violation or allowing violations of religious freedom, within that country. A lot of it is identified to, whether a country has maybe a state religion established, or or to some degree, in some kind of way, they are, being considered to persecuting Christianity. And of course, the claim is all the time that Christianity is the most persecuted religion across the entire world on any given day. I don't necessarily agree with that. Or in any case, I don't think that it's any more persecuted than another. I would argue that there's just as much persecution of the Jewish religion or Islam as there is Christianity. I think the argument oftentimes is that the idea is that Christianity is the largest, although that also is kind of goes back and forth with Judaism. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they could kind of go back and forth as the first and second place around the world. But either way, I personally think that all of them are persecuted probably about the same. Arguably, because of the constant suppression and oppression and violence, control of like Islamic states, one could argue that they are persecuted even more than Christians. But either way, the list that they this group oftentimes list is like pretty much almost every country in the Middle East, several countries throughout Africa, even like Russia, North Korea, China, or India, all kind of areas like that. Like basically everybody, but you don't see Israel on this. You don't see the United States on this, of course, because the United States, we do have a freedom of religion. We're supposed to, anyways. Although there's a big, and I find this sort of ironic that we have this agency established to prevent or to acknowledge other countries that are being, possibly persecuting Christians, but yet, and not allowing for religious freedom, but yet we have a large part of, or well, not large, but there is a certain part of our own citizenship that is trying to force Christianity into our government itself, trying to force it into our schools again, trying to force it into our local governments, and even on the federal level, trying to establish, the Christian nationalism sort of group that is very heavily encased into the MAGA movement, and trying to change all that, bring sort of join together the church and state idea. I find that very interesting because it's like, okay, so you want religious freedom for Christians. Clearly, you're concerned with that around the world, but yet you don't have a problem with trying to establish some sort of Christian adjacent ideology in our own country where we're giving more freedoms and more concentration to one religion over any other. Because guess what? That is suppression of religious freedom. But anyways, so but now you have, Israel openly preventing, and this is not like the first time, but I'm just saying you have it openly preventing Christians from, having their freedom of of religious practice on one of the most important days of the year. And you don't really see this being an issue. Like, where are the Christians? Where are the Christians in the United States that look at, should, I would think, look at this and go, whoa, wait a minute, why are y'all preventing? Yeah, I understand that they're Palestinian, but why are you preventing them from their religious freedoms? And where's the backlash for that? Because I don't really see it. It amazes me that I'm constantly seeing, people, family members, friends, and stuff like that posting or sharing posts or something on Facebook, that have no problem with actions and stuff being taken, whether it's on Israel, whether it's on immigrants here, whether it's like, all these, like, where have you, I feel like the Christian, the connection is not, the moral connection to treating people with love and respect, regardless of whether they are Christian or not, or in the name of a nation or a state, and how they might consider themselves persecuted or security, situation or whatever. Like, where is your morality stand on that? Because I feel like there's just so little concern, even although personally I think it's always been there, but there's so very little concern with life in the Christian community, or in parts of it anyways, unless it's for Christians. But then that is also taken apart, even for Christians, if those Christians are tied to certain other peoples, so to speak. Like in this case, Palestinians. It's like it's like you're not concerned with the fact that it's Christians because it's Palestinians. It's like, oh, well, they're Palestinians, so they're probably not real Christians. Like, I feel like that's the mentality there. That you're constantly coming up or moving the goalpost, or whatever the case, or strawmanning, people based in other factors than actually taking up for what you should consider a part of your, group, fellow practitioners of your religion, of your belief system. But I mean, I don't know why I even really find this an issue or find this surprising, because I mean, that's oftentimes the issue in Christianity to begin with, is that there's constant, looking down on other Christians, even within its own group. One Christian not good enough from another Christian, whether you're talking about denominations, or whether you're talking, or certain, or color, or like race, or whatever the case, like and that goes to the broader argument. What has happened to And this could be argued for all religions, really, or the main three that we're discussing here. You know, Jewish, Islam, Christianity. Like, it's become too much of an individualistic like idea for oneself and what they believe is to be true or not true, or right or not right, within their own ideas of their religion. So therefore, you're not even accepting the premise of someone practicing under the umbrella of your religion to begin with. So I mean, you're all believing in the same God. You all come from the same origins. Y'all come from an origin before you were who you were. You're all coming from the same place. Before Islam was Islam, before Christianity was Christianity, before Jewish was Jewish. You're all coming from the same place. Whether you want to give it a name or not, or understand that it came from the same place or not. And yes, you do all have your different perspectives of what that means and what should be practiced and not. But you should be, at the same time, if you believe in religious freedom, you should be believing in that freedom for all of it, for Christians, for Jewish, for Muslims, for and even abroad outside of those three. And this is something that I can't quite, and I don't even know honestly where I want to go completely to finish this discussion out, because I just feel like this should be a part of a backlash. Like, what's going on, and this is just within the perspective of this is that, on top of the fact that, of what also is happening to Palestinians in Gaza, in the West Bank, the constant, bombardments, killing of innocent people. Like this is just outside of even that humanity, that like perverse, just inhumane actions that are being taken on a group of people. This is just based within. I'm just basing this within the religious concept, and yet, when you if you tack that on along with all the other bullshit that there's been being done by the Israeli government on this group of people, I have to sit here and wonder why are you okay with it? You should be losing your shit, just like some of us are. Even me as a atheist. How are you not losing your shit over what's being done to this group of people? I can't wrap my head around that. Like, where is your concern? Where is the love? Where is the, support for a lesser people, or the poor, or the persecuted and whatnot? That should be the foundation of your belief system through Jesus Christ and his teachings and how he approached the actions in his time being done towards, lesser people, whether it was by the Roman Empire or whatever. Like, where's your concern in this? Is it not enough? Is it something that you just don't care about anymore? I want to see outrage. I want to see you live up to what you are preaching all the time about loving, it being compassionate towards people. The things that I grew up learning in church myself. But as I grew older and started looking at the world and how people are treated, I started going, damn, are we really living to what we're preaching here? Who are we protecting? Who are we talking about? Are we talking about everybody, or are we just talking about ourselves? I feel like there's something that's got to connect. Something that's got to be a revelation in your where's the outrage? Where's the outrage? Thank you for joining me. Let me know in the comments what you think. I don't even know if I really concluded that in any way that brings this discussion together, honestly. It blows my mind when I see what's going on and these actions, and we want to point the finger at all these other countries or all these other areas where we claim we don't like what we see, but yet it doesn't come up in areas like Israel right now, where it is so blatantly on display for all to see. I mean, and we're not outraged by it. I don't see outrage over it. And it should be fucking outrage over it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for joining me. ClearTalk. Peace. I'm out.